You're listening to today's inspirational message on the Proverbs with Kurt Bjorklund.
When I was a kid, I remember having freedom to roam. It was a different era. I'm not sure that I ever gave my kids the same kind of freedom, but the freedom would sometimes lead to trouble, meaning not that the freedom itself led to trouble, but the choices that I would make in the freedom. And we had these woods that were near the grade school that I attended. It was maybe about a mile bike ride. And you could ride down and play in the woods. And then there was a bridge that went over this highway. And one of my buddies and I, when we were bored one summer afternoon, got a bunch of water balloons together. And we rode to this bridge over the highway where there were no exit ramps. And we proceeded to throw water balloons at cars. And we thought it was a grand time. We left. There was no consequence. And so we ended up, we probably didn't hit any cars, but we tried and we thought it was fun. And then when the snow came and winter came, we decided one day that we would reenact this, but it was hard without bikes to get down to where the bridge was. And so we found a place on a road not far from our homes where we would throw snowballs at cars. And I remember throwing a snowball at a car, a couple of them, and they went and by and nothing happened. But one, I had a throw of maybe my lifetime. It hit the guy's windshield. Fortunately, nothing broke, but the guy stopped his car, got out, found us, took us to our homes, and told our parents exactly what we were doing. And my parents proceeded to enact discipline. Discipline that to this day, I don't think I ever threw anything at a car again. And I bring this up because in Proverbs chapter 3, we see the beauty of discipline. Verse 11, "My son, do not despise the Lord's discipline or be weary of his reproof, for the Lord reproves him whom he loves, as a father the son in whom he delights." And so when God brings correction into our lives, and there's a difference between punishment and correction. There's a difference between a father erupting in anger that you did something and a father saying, "I want you to be better than this." But what it does is it brings wisdom into our lives, and discipline isn't pleasant at the time. This is what Hebrews says. But when we look back, we recognize the good that it brought. And the discipline that was brought into my life that winter afternoon with me having to go and take care of some things for this guy and make some other things right brought about a change in my life. And notice what comes after this in Proverbs. If you look at Proverbs chapter 3 from verse 11 all the way down to about verse 24, you see these blessings of wisdom. It says, "Blessed is the one who finds wisdom, the one who gets understanding. For the gain from her is better than the gain from silver, and her profit is better than gold." God's discipline is better for you, better for me, than if we have an increase in silver and gold. Verse 15, "She's more precious than jewels, and nothing you can desire can compare to her. Long life is in her hands, and in her left hand are riches and honor." And so there's long life. Again, there's this promise of success. There's this promise of honor. Verse 17, there's the promise of pleasantness. Her ways are ways of pleasantness. The New Living Translation says it's delightful. "And all her paths are peace." And the word for peace here is the Hebrew word shalom. It doesn't merely mean absence of conflict. It means all that is right, all that is full of well-being. And then it talks about that she's a tree of life. Verse 18, "To those who lay hold of her, to those who hold fast, they are called blessed," or deemed happy. So wisdom comes into your life and my life when we respond to God's discipline. Now, you and I may not always understand what is discipline, what are just natural consequences or bad luck. But here's what I found is helpful for me, and that is any time that I have bad consequences, bad luck, to say, is it possible that God is doing something in my life to create a new pattern, new discipline, new something? Now, I don't think you always want to say, every time something bad happens, your car breaks down, oh, I did something wrong. Therefore, God's disciplining me. But maybe God is working even in that to bring about a new kind of wisdom. And so the goal here is to not despise the negative things, to not despise the hand of God or be weary of how many times it seems like God might correct us or frustrate something because it's actually working for our good long term. There's a blessing in the reproof and the discipline of God.
Thanks for joining us here today. There's a lot of great content to explore on Orchard Hill Plus and on the Orchard Hill main feed from the weekend. Have a great day.